Hi everyone, welcome to Artist Palette. My name is Karin. Today we are drawing the Hogwarts and Harry's glasses. So let me know before we get started, I just want to know that everybody can hear me clearly and can see me clearly. So maybe just in the comment section, let me know if there's any issues. I can't really zoom out. Or else I'm not gonna be able to show both my drawing and what I'm doing, so kind of have to squeeze it all in. But just let me know if you can hear and see everything clearly. Awesome. Hi, Joanna. I just have scissors. I usually just cut up my eraser if I need like little teeny tiny fine points, like erasing some highlight in the glasses. So sometimes I just have my scissors handy when my eraser gets all, like the edges get all rounded out like that. That's all I have those for. I'll go over my tools once more people join. I'll wait till a little after 6:30 just so people can join and we all get started at the same time. Maybe you can take a moment and let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you want just a little heads up, you can trace your glasses so you have a nice perfect circle. Circles are hard if you're not used to drawing, so if you haven't drawn in a long time, you can cheat. It's just like painter's tape, so it's like I just trace the inside. If you want that nice perfect circle, totally up to you. Sophia, tuning in from Hogwarts. That's funny. I'm actually not too familiar. Obviously, I know Harry Potter. I swear I was like one of the first people when it first came out. I was only like a young pup. I was like 10 or something when Harry Potter first came out, and I was one of the first people in my class to read it. And I did a book report on it, and then it became super popular, and then that kind of turned me off of it because I was like, now everybody likes it, and they're kind of ruining the book for me because they were like jumping ahead and stuff. So I kind of didn't follow Harry Potter all the way through. I think I've only seen to like the 4th movie or something, so kind of disappointed in myself, but I used to be a really diehard fan. Ooh. Australia. Got Maine, Philadelphia, San Diego, Canada. Nice. Righteous. I'll go over my tool lists. Once I hit, I'm just going to wait for a little bit more followers to tune in, and then I'll go over everything. Basically, I always just use basic tools when I'm doing my live or my free events, just because I know that not everybody's got the same tools as me, so I try and keep them pretty basic. My ankle's still a little messed up. It's healing, but I cranked it pretty good. It's still like pretty purple. And I can walk on it now, which is nice, but certain angles of it, oh my goodness, it's terrible. What? That's so cool. A Harry Potter wedding. Ooh. Is she gonna go as Hermione? Oops. Oh, I just broke my pencil. Thank you, Joanna. They're incredible. I now have 20 sunflower heads on my one stalk. It's insane. I didn't know they grew like that. So for my tools, I'm just using an HB pencil, so just a regular standard drawing pencil. If you just have a school pencil, that'll work too. We're not doing anything too drastic with the shading. Optional, you can also have a 4B pencil. So if you look at the bottom of your sketching pencils, sorry, sometimes when I come up close to my camera, just fair warning, it takes a while for it to focus back in. So okay, so mine's really used, but usually at the bottom it says 4B on the bottom of if you have sketching pencils. So the 4B is basically the higher the number on the bottom of the pencil, the thicker the lead, and then the darker black areas you're going to get. So that it kind of helps with contrast if you want like that deeper kind of black and white look to it. I'm going to try and prop this up. The sun's sort of starting to set a little bit, so it's going to reflect my lead. When I use my lamps, it gets all like, oh, that's too high there. It gets too shiny, so I have to rely on the natural lighting. It's really annoying trying to teach pencil over video, I can tell you that. Okay, so let's, so I'll always be using my HB pencil unless I state otherwise, basically. And then for the other tool, I just have a roll of like painter's tape if you want to get that nice circle. You don't have to. You can practice your circle if you like, but for me, I'm just going to keep it that way so that I can kind of draw the exact same image. So I'm just going to trace the inside. So I'm just using my HB pencil. Again, I'll always tell you if I'm changing over. It's just very sketchy. You don't have to press too hard. When you're doing your outline, try not to press very hard because that's not the same size, is it? It's a little bigger. Yeah, you don't want to press too hard because we kind of make mistakes in the beginning. So it's easier sort of to erase a lighter line than it is a darker line. So try and go nice and light. Okay, those are way too small. I'm going to go a little bigger with my circle. Sometimes it's easier to just trace around your circle too. It helps with the shape. So even if I'm going to erase this inner line here, but it kind of helps get that nice circle going. I guess I didn't trace that painter's tape. There, I want it kind of bigger. So Hogwarts is pretty ginormous, so I'll press a little harder once I kind of get my circle concrete. But hi, Linda. Try and make them nice and even-ish. Won't really matter. It's supposed to be kind of fun and wonky a little bit, so don't Don't stress too much. I kind of went for a more illustrative look than I did like realistic. We're also going to do another rim around this one, so we're just drawing circles right now, if anybody's tuning in. I'm gonna happy with those. Still keep them light, even when they're when you're satisfied with the shape. Don't press too hard because we have to draw over top of them with the buildings. So you don't even have to worry about the second rim right now. We'll just jump into drawing the shape and then kind of work around that. So I started with the left side. I'm left-handed, so I apologize to your, or sorry, I'm right-handed, so I apologize to you left-handed. A good tip to know is when you're working away, it's always good to cover up. So I always have like a blank sheet of paper and just a scrap piece of paper, not my billing information. Let's go with this. Probably important document, but whatever. So always have like a blank sheet of paper and cover up your hand, and that way you're not smudging your work underneath. I'm going to get rid of that. I just don't do that in my tutorial so that you can always see my image. So we're going to start with this this section. I'm so sorry, but I don't know like all the terms and the different wings of the Hogwarts. I really wish I did. However, we're starting with this side. Okay, so it's just 2 lines up. We're going to start with this big, massive piece because that's kind of where everything's sort of playing off from. It's just like a little box. Again, try and be nice and light with your outline. We're not putting anything concrete yet. Okay, we got to sort of build the foundation before we start jumping into heavy, dark lines. If you have any questions as we're going, just ask away and don't be afraid to tell me if I'm going too fast. I'll always speed up, but never, or sorry, I'll always slow down, but never speed up. So the top of this building, it's not straight across. Give it a little bit of an arch. I kind of just used the arch of the glasses. That's how I kind of did that one. Kind of just works its way into the glasses. And then there's a second rim to that building. Gonna go up and keep that same arch going. And then we're just going to make a big, gigantic triangle. You can even make, let's see, might make my building just a bit bigger, ever so slightly. Does anybody know what wing this is in Hogwarts? Hogwarts. And then, yeah, a big triangle on top. You want it pretty steep, so I'd go as tall as you can. As you add things, it kind of starts to morph and change. This looks too skinny to me, so this is why you kind of want to keep your lines nice and light. It looks uneven to me, so I'm going to widen this and make my building a little thicker. So it's easy to fix and change things. The beginning is always the hardest part. You're kind of warming up your hand. I've been drawing all day, so my hand's pretty tired. That's why it's always good to just keep your lines nice and light. And then at the end, we can start to, once we start to form things out, you can start to make them a little bit more concrete. And then we're going to have a bunch of lines coming up from there. So they're all kind of working, try and keep them like all the same shape or size. And they're all just working up towards that peak. I might widen this side out. Okay, so it's, you're kind of going with the angle. Like I'm kind of following this angle here. And then as it kind of comes to the middle section, that line's going straight down because it's looking right at us. And then change direction. Easy peasy. Okay, and then we're just gonna kind of build little, this little part. I really wish I knew all the little terms for it. I feel like this would be a hall. Okay, so we're, this part's kind of, it fades out to be like coming off the glasses. So we're only kind of seeing a little piece of it coming outside. So first we're starting with like a little triangle. Kind of midway on that big tower. You can erase the inner line of that tower if it's interrupting. And then on the left-hand side, just put a line down. And then kind of midway on this side. And then we're just building backwards. Just line out from the peak of that triangle. This is where we can kind of build our rim for our glasses because it's kind of starting to intrude with our drawing. So let's just go ahead and do that. So it's just like a little thin rim. So you're just kind of continuing that circle. I guess we could have done it in the beginning, but whatever. And it's easier to draw circles after you've drawn for a minute or two. So it might help. Don't go too thick on the rim. Doesn't really have thick rimmed glasses. And I can kind of build this line out a little bit. And then there's like another tower. So kind of right at the base of the rim of the glasses. Just like a little rectangle sort of. Okay, with a triangle on top. And then where it sits in the roof is, instead of it being flat, it's just like a little semicircle. And then you can erase that line of the roof. Apparently I say roof weird, so I apologize. Roof. That little triangle, you can build another one right beside it. So when I'm building triangle little roofs, like a parallel triangle, put two little lines out from the edge of the triangle and then just build on top. And press a little harder because it's a small little detail so you can see it. Okay, so it's just like a little parallel line. Okay, and then coming out from the side here, okay, to make it sort of three-dimensional, two little lines right beside it, not too thick. And like a, hold on, how did I do this? I already messed that up. Hold on. A very tight triangle. I'm going to come up close. My camera will go out of focus and be all wonky for a minute, so just be patient with me when I come back down. It's a tight triangle. So the edge of it connects to that little line there. And we're building a second little edge to it, but we're only kind of seeing one side. Okay, so it's only a parallel line on the inside of that triangle. Okay, same with over here. Tight. Oh, it didn't really go out of focus. Very nice. It's cooperating. And then from the tops of those outside triangles is another triangle. Basically, we're just going to build this and then move on to this side on the second hour. So now that you kind of understand the little triangle pieces, you can do that over here on this one. There's a little, just give your roof like a second little triangle piece. So we're seeing like an eaves trough or something. Not that they really had that, but I don't know. Okay, we're going to build all the big pieces and then we'll go into all the little teeny tiny little towers in there. I'm just going to try and make it as simple as possible because it is pretty like complex with everything going on. I was trying to design it. I was like, oh my God. Or, oh my goodness, there's just so much going on. So cut across this little house piece. Okay, one line down, one line across. Okay, you're making a parallelogram. Thank you, Susan, for that lesson. My last, I did, forget what I was drawing, but I couldn't figure out what that shape was. One of my fellow artists that joins me, her husband was like a science teacher or something. And she taught me that it's a parallelogram. I was like, yes, I haven't heard that word in a long time. Again, straight down from one of those corners. It's okay if it's all kind of wonky. It's kind of meant to be like whimsical and fun, so don't worry if like all your angles are off and stuff. Okay, so this line down over here. What'd I do here? Okay, this is a bridge. So we'll cut across right now, just a little line. Okay, is a parallel line as well. Kind of builds our ground for us. Let's do this little building over here. So he's like a mini version of this, pretty much. Kind of like midway coming off. So it's like a rectangle, but oh, where'd I put him? It's too far down. So he's a little bit higher up here. He has a rounded top. So it's curved inwards, then a little triangle on top. You try not to match it to mine. If it just makes sense to cut something off that isn't the exact same on mine, try not to like work it to try and look like mine. Just sort of try to make it look sense on your own. It doesn't really matter too much if the placement isn't the same, as long as it's generally in the same proximity, then it's all good. Let's cut across with this roof. Just a little line out. That's going to fade off eventually, so just kind of do a nice soft line. And we're going to get into all these like crazy towers. So basically they're just like elongated versions of this thing. And I'm going to fix this thing, as I'm going to call it, because it's off kilter a little bit. It just looks weird. I'm kind of looking on my screen rather than my sketchbook, and it's kind of messing me up. So I just got to fix. This looks all slanted and weird. Okay, so we'll get into like these little towers. So they're just like teeny tiny little mini versions. So it's just like a little box. So this one's kind of growing off the side. It's like a box with a curved top. Okay, so it's not flat across the top. It's got like a little bit of an arch. It's what's going to make it look like a cylinder. The bottom can be flat. Okay, and then I gave it like a lip, like this one, how it's got this second little curve to it. Okay, so same on all these little tiny ones. It's a little lip and then a triangle top. Okay, you can erase the glasses where it kind of pokes through. Okay, this whole part here is on top of the glasses. The rest is So it's only these two little towers here that are over top of the lenses, or the frames, sorry. Okay, and then another tower that's just like a little half a millimeter, centimeter, whatever, up from this one. So it's growing off this first guy, and he's a little bit taller. So it's like a long tube with a rounded curved top. A second little line, and then a triangle top. Okay, there's one in behind this little tiny one. So it's just, we're just seeing kind of like the bottom of the tower itself. So just bring a line down and kind of stop closer to the bottom of this big one. Does anybody know what this is called? What part of the quarters it is? So I can kind of reference it as I'm going. And then there's like a little bridge. Okay, again, mine's coming out of the glasses, whereas it's on the inside of this one. So again, just try and make it fit your own. Don't, like, mine's going to be a little bit different from this one. So don't stress too much about that. You can just kind of grow. I'll start my new tower. So this is a big one. And maybe I'll just, because I made this too small or too big. Okay, I was right on this guy. I might bring him in a sliver. I keep messing with this one. Easy fix. Just gonna take out. Make these a little wider. Sorry, I kind of want to bring that one in just a bit. I know I said not to, but not to worry about it, but kind of, I don't want it to interfere with this part, so. If you can make yours work, then awesome. Mine's just not gonna fly that way, so I gotta just shimmy things over a little bit. Okay. Sorry if that was confusing. So I'm just kind of adding in this tower here. I just wanted a sliver of it to be inside the glasses. This guy's got a little bit of a different top. So instead of it just going flat across, it's like a castle. You know how it's got the little prongs? So you can first draw your line very softly, like your curved line, and then start dipping in, sort of like how you do jack-o'-lantern teeth. In like little boxes, but keep that curve going. Okay, don't cut them straight across. That's why I drew that little guideline. Okay, and then you can curve them in. Okay, so it's like a castle top. Crenellations? Sorry, I don't know how to say that. Is that what that's called? Crenation. I can't even say it. Crenellations. It's probably not at all how it's pronounced, but we'll go with that. Nodding? Ah, that makes sense. Thank you. I learned so much from you guys. There's one in behind. You can, if you can sneak one in, you can. Mine's getting kind of tight, so I don't know if I'm even gonna. I might try and squeeze it in. It's just like the remnants of one way in the background. So I'm just kind of squeezing in some lines, and maybe I'm just seeing the sliver of the top. And just kind of make it, you're kind of just filling in little gaps. So the bridge here is just pretty standard. It's like a little arch, but then there's to make it look 3D, you're just adding like an arch coming off from the center of that arch. If that makes sense. Okay, so you got, sorry, I'm kind of, there we go. Okay, so you got your arch, and then gonna midway start another arch, like, okay, and you can just fill that in black right now, just so we don't get all confused later. The bottom's kind of white, so you can just go in and erase a little sliver of white in the bottom of that in-between arch. It's like black and then white. Alrighty. Now there's little towers coming off this one. So I kind of just started a line kind of midway and then arched it in. And you're just doing the same thing. Give it a little second little line and then a top. And then you're just building again, another one. They kind of get tinier and tinier as they go out. Itty bitties. Itty bitty baby towers. Now there's one in behind here. So this triangle over here, there's like a teeny tiny one just sticking out off the side of that one. And over here, so basically there's just pillars. If you can see, there's like three, it's the same shape as these towers. So there's three of them. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to come up close with this so you can see. You see right here, there's 3. 1, 2, 3. There's like a front pillar as well. So there's like a teeny tiny one on the corner. And then they're conjoined by little archways between them. And so that's all I'm doing in there. My camera's gonna have a little freak out moment and not focus on me for me. So that's always fun. So just, you can go ahead and do that while I try to refocus my camera. I always have to give it something to focus on and then work its way back down. Come on. I'm just going to start drawing and hopefully it just kind of figures itself out. No? Okay. Haha. Sometimes if I go down too fast, it like can't focus. It's a little bugger. So just a teeny tiny little pillar on top. Just kind of squeeze it in there somewhere. Basically just kind of make it look full, like you're busy. These ones are tall. There's a little arch between them. Put like a little curved line and then started my next one. If you can only fit two and like me, that's fine. Okay, you can, while we're here, we might as well do the little glasses thing. So just try and meet the middle. So maybe figure out where your middle is. Do a little ghost line. Okay, very soft. Like super soft line to the point where you barely can see it. And that way everything is equal. What's oof? Or what are you oofing? Are you struggling? So I put a little curved line for the side of the glasses. It's like a little rectangle with the curves on the outside instead of straight across. Curve, curve. Okay, like a little box. And then just go backwards. It goes into the glasses, sort of. So just one line back. And then from the outside of that, like the bottom corner here, come around and go back. It's like a double line. Oh, yeah, I know. It always does that. I shouldn't bash the company that it is, so I'm not going to because it's on YouTube, but it's really annoying. And it was expensive, which is the more annoying part. So that's what the side of the glasses looks like. So my first line comes from the top corner, and then the second one's just like a little reach around. Yep. Yeah, I got this camera to do all my tutorials, and I find my phone works better than a $200 webcam, so that's cool. I'm gonna bring my bridge up. I just realized how low it was. Sorry. This is why we want soft lines, because as you add things, other things start to morph and change your image, and then you can kind of see where you need to adjust. So keep your lines nice and soft. So now we can build this little thing. I didn't really know what was going on, so I just kind of made it up. It was such a small little part. So I just built like a little cylinder. So it's like a line and then a scooped line down and then coming in. I'm going to press really hard so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just building a weird cylinder tower. With like a bottom on it. And kind of just attaches to the side of that house thing. So I just keep building up. So I'm just, oh yeah, I remember what it looked like now. Yeah, it was just like a weird rounded side of the house. So it's all curved. All these lines are curved right now. The ones that are going across. And then I just built, there's like a teeny tiny little tower. It kind of came off of that. You can go right in over top of the rooftop if you need to. It was a weird looking thing, so doesn't really need to make too much sense. There's like a teeny tiny one in there as well. Just towers and towers, basically. No one's going to focus in on those little tiny things. Okay, everybody's going to kind of look at the mass. So try not to stress about little itty bitty things. Now there's like the stairwell that comes down from the bridge. So on an angle, there's 2 lines down. Sorry, 3. Okay, the third one is going to be shorter than the rest, because now you're going to build a line down from those top 2. So it's they're all in parallel lines. So these first 2 are skinny, and then the second one's farther away. That makes sense. Sorry. So 2 lines, and then down, and then another line there. And then the rest is like rock, like that's around it. So you can just kind of build lumpy, bumpy sort of rock faces. You don't want them too bumpy or like drastic. Okay, kind of keep them sort of flat. Rocks are usually generally flat-ish. And this one coming down from the stairwell. And there's one kind of in front. And then little archways across the bottom of the bridge that join into the rock. Oh, and then there's rocks, sorry, up here as well between this big guy and this bridge over here. So now you can just kind of build angled, just kind of cut off the bottoms of everything, basically. The bottom of this cylinder one, I just realized, so it's a curved line. If you can fit it in, if you can cut it off with rock, you could do that too. But if you see like a little sliver, it's just a curved line and then works down, another curve, and then flat down. It's just kind of like a little cement thing. And then we can start filling it in. To get that contrast, I like to use my 4B pencil. I just find it helps with the paper I'm using. It helps to get those really dark blacks in there without having to like press really hard. So it's totally up to you. You can still achieve the drawing if you just have your regular HB pencil. Basically just press harder where there's black areas so that you can kind of get that nice illustrative look. So you kind of want that like really black and white sort of look. It'll make it sort of more, not cartoony, but just more like pen and ink looking things. Sorry, I'm just looking for something. What did I do? Okay. So let's just start over here. Nice and easy. Again, try and cover up your hand. So if you have a blank sheet of paper, put it underneath your hand so you're not smudging everything. Let's start with this tower. So basically, let's split the tower just like we did with these little lines. I just did like 2. Okay, they don't even have to go all the way down, just sort of fade them out. Okay, and then you just want really dark at the top. So basically when you're shading something, I'm just gonna talk to you about fading. It's called like gradient or ombre, people like to call it. Basically, you're always trying to achieve black to white, but with all these gray tones. So I'm going black, as I'm trying to get to white, I'm loosening up my hand. I'm not pushing as hard, and I'm fading, 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 getting light, 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 till I hit white. Okay, so it's kind of like I like to use the example of a paint chip that you'd get at like Home Depot or Home Hardware. You know how it goes from like your darkest blue to your lightest blue? So it's the same thing, but with black and white. So try and always think of that as you're shading something. You don't want to just have black and then white. You want all these little gray tones in between. So I'm getting really black at the tip, and then as I'm pushing away from the tip, I'm just getting lighter and lighter and lighter as I get to the bottom of that rooftop. Okay, and I always try and like use, sometimes when I'm filling in a thick or a big surface, larger surface, I use the side of my pencil. So when you use the tip of your pencil, it's very liney looking. It looks like a bunch of lines, right? When you use the side of your pencil, it looks like that. So it's more flat and easier to work with. So that's all I did there. Oh, I forgot to mention my tools. You may want to grab some Q-tips. So I'll give you guys like 1 minute. Go grab your Q-tips if you haven't. We're going to use it for smudging and kind of, it'll help with fading. Like if you have trouble kind of making a nice gradient, you can always push it out with your Q-tip and just smudge it, and it kind of makes a nice fade. So grab that. So run, 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 run. All I'm doing is darkening the side of my lines here while we wait. Okay, so just darkening things. Inside this tower is a little window, so I just did a flat bottom and then a little arch, and then filled it in. And then you can just, same technique where we're just dark to light from the top to the bottom. In all these little sections. Okay, if you have trouble with that, you can just lightly add in light. I'm not pressing hard at all. Okay, I'm making a flat gray, and then you can smudge if you like. Give a little smudge. Okay, it'd be dark right under those archways, under those triangles would be darkest. Okay, for shadow purposes. Okay, those edges. Basically, I'm just darkening all my lines as I go. Okay, we'll just kind of build. Let's do our glass lens, or our frame. Sorry, think of that. Okay, so I'm just going to do one part of the frame. I'm going to kind of just build the frame as we go by that section. So basically dark where it hits this tower. And then as we're getting close to that little side piece, I just faded it out. Okay, so really dark, light. And then just going back to the beginning. So I'm just going to start darkening all my lines. Okay, I didn't fill in the little rooftop, that little triangle piece. I just kind of left it. I'm just darkening in between. That rooftop can just be like a solid darkish gray. Like I'm not pushing hard at all. I'm using my 4B pencil, so I don't have to push hard, because again, it's just a thicker lead, so it'll automatically be dark. As you get outside of the glasses, I started to fade it. So I put a little bit of lead. So again, I'm using the side of my pencil. Okay, shaded underneath that weird tower thing. Okay, and then I just faded it out by using my Q-tip. I just pushed it out and let it fade right out. So it kind of just fades off the page and just goes into the abyss. Actually, I didn't even smudge it. I just used my pencil to fade it off, but you can do whatever you like. If you prefer the smudging, you can. I don't think I really smudged too much during this whole drawing, so it's just whatever you prefer. If you like that kind of flatter look to it. Again, this little triangle piece, front part of this building, a dark up in the corner, fade out to light. Fade. So as you're fading, just sometimes I'm just like, it's like combing hair. You're just pulling down very lightly. Okay, darken your lines. You can, let's just sort of, with those teeny tiny towers, like I just do it quick, like it's itty bitty, just adding a little bit of gray tone, not too much. All those teeny tiny towers, just re-outlining. And with the, sorry, I should show you, so when we get up to like bigger ones like this, so I just want to show you what I'm doing on the teeny tiny ones. So say this is my tower head. I'm fading on one side and then just to the middle. So it's like one side's hitting the sun. So choose which side on all of them. So on my, I always went from my left to my right on every single tower head. So just choose whatever side you want to fade from and stick to it. These ones are so itty bitty that I can't really get much fade in there, but you can try. And then the little arch between those teeny tiny towers is just black. down those tiny towers, I put teeny little windows, so just like these ones where it's like flat and then has an arch. I'm just adding minuscule little details. The little side of the glasses, a little rectangle, I just kind of did like a spiral inwards, so it's dark on the light on the outside and then light on the inside of it. So it's just like a quick little, so it's the inside is highlighted. Just spiraled inwards. You can just darken the outside frame there. Yeah, I've wanted to do marble characters. I do that for my commission work a lot. It's just hard because it takes hours. Like when I'm doing a character, I usually spend like 12 hours, so it's hard to break it down to make it simplified for teaching in like a 2-hour class, so I'm still struggling to figure out how to do that. Let's go this big one for now. Let's get that big guy out of the way. And just outlining. Oops. Sorry. Take away some of your outline at the top there. I forgot the little windows. So there's like these little triangle pieces. So again, it's just like this one. So it's like a triangle with a double line. Almost like a bubble shaped V upside down. And then like a little box underneath for a window. And I just sort of filled in that window. And then on this, as they're they get tighter with the triangles as they're on the side because it's going around a cylinder. So they'd be a little bit smaller or tighter, like squeezed. And then working up the side, or sorry, the roof is all those little like teeny tiny windows like this, but they're slanted because you have to kind of go with the slant of the building or the roof. I'm just doing like little itty bitty, almost like triangular. They get kind of smaller as you go up and away. Okay, I just did it in the one side of the roof, the middle panel. I kind of messed up my panels a little bit, but whatever. So these ones are going straight up. There's just like little teeny tiny little archways. Or arch looking window panels. And then on the side here. And then to shade that roof, again, we're just choosing one side. So dark, dark, dark at the top. And then lightly pulling down. Okay, and I only did it kind of I didn't go all the way down, so I kept the middle panels light. So it's just the top where it's really shaded. And then I kind of kept the rest. Maybe this one side is a little bit darker. So just ever so slightly filled it in on the one side there. There's like on this top piece, I did like a teeny tiny itty bitty tower coming off the side. It's so small. And on the other side. And I just filled it in black. It's just like way up there. Maybe one in the middle. And then you can fill these ones in. And just shaded the one side of my tower head, put in, and even the tower itself, I just shaded a little bit, like hardly touched it, just quick little shade on the left side. And then teeny tiny itty bitty windows. Just remember to fade off your shadow. Underneath those towers, they're going to connect with like it's little rock, so you can just kind of wiggle like a little triangle piece, a little connecting piece, and sort of quickly fill it in. And this tower face, I just sort of went dark to light around that rim. Same with the big piece. So this is where you might want to smudge if it's a little overwhelming. This will just get like a little bit of dark on the one side. And then you can take your Q-tip and smudge it out. So it should be mostly white, like you don't want to go too drastic with that shadow. And then all the little teeny tiny windows. Just do like a bunch of rows. Didn't go all the way to the bottom. Might have been too much. Since we're kind of on the same track, that's basically what I did for all of them. So over here, if there's like a little cut off piece, I just filled it in black. There's like a little sliver where there's nothing. So I just put black. I can't zoom in my my thing. I can try and come in closer. It's just I have to hold my notepad. Just let me know if there's like a certain area that you want me to zoom in on. I want you to be able to see. Oh, now it's out of focus. I just want you to be able to see what I'm doing. If you guys want, I can take out this image. If you're like, you got this in your head now, and I can actually lower my camera so that you can see more of my drawing if you prefer. And you just won't be able to see like the original drawing. Might actually be easier, so just give me a minute. I'm gonna lower everything. My camera's gonna go all crazy. Just give me un momento. I think that might, just like that. I knew that was gonna happen. It'll just be easier for you to see what I'm doing. Sorry if you see my bare legs. It's really hot and I'm in shorts. Come on, meow. There we go. That's a little closer. Why didn't I just do that in the first place? Okay. Just have to let it focus for a second. Come on. And then maybe I can lift it. There, I'll just keep this close by, so if you ever want to see the original, just let me know. You probably won't really need to see it till we get on to the second part anyways. There, that's a little bit closer, so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. It's so itty-bitty that it's kind of hard to see. So let's just continue with this. So it's all kind of the same from here, is that we're just kind of filling in. I'm just gonna dark from the one side, work my way over. It's very quick, like I'm not really spending too much time shading the. I'm just kind of tossing in little shadows, little windows, because once you kind of look at it from afar, it's all gonna sort of just make sense. You don't have to worry too much about all the little itty-bitty things. Since we're kind of on towers, let's just fill in these ones. I'm just realizing our time, so I want to be able to get through this within a decent time. So I'm just going to speed up my process a little bit. If you kind of fall behind, don't stress. You can always watch it later, or probably just do it on your own. It's not too difficult. Any tower that's kind of connecting from another tower, just there's like a little rock that connects it, and I just filled it in black. So it's like a little triangle sort of that connects it. There's a tower in behind that one, remember? And then teeny tiny little windows. I did some windows coming off the side. I'm just kind of faking a lot of details. So you're just kind of filling it in. Don't really stress too much about every little minuscule thing. And remember, I use the side of my pencil when I'm well, that's okay. It'll be up on YouTube forever, so if you ever want to watch it later, you can. Just remember to connect the little towers with like a little, I just did like a little wiggly line and then filled it in. Sorry if it's playing with the focus. It's not used to being so close up. So this one in behind, I just pretty much filled it in a lot darker than the one that's in front. And remember, these ones are coming in behind the glasses. So you can outline that lens or the frame of the glasses if you want, so you don't get confused. You know, everything's in behind the frames. And then I just went from dark to light, left a little light area, and then did it again, dark to light. And then skipped another area, and then dark to light again. Just kind of went random areas. Glasses are a little wonky. You can always fix that up and actually trace something if you want that nice perfect circle. Just remember that tower in behind. This one I did a little lighter than that one, so it sticks out from the in behind one. I darken that one so it pops from each other. Itty bitty windows. You can stagger your windows, kind of make it look cool. Well, I originally thought I traced the inside, but I think I did the outside, and I've been using this tape, so it's, I don't know. I don't really, I can measure it across. I don't know how to measure a diameter quickly, but I did about 3 inches across, it looks like. So it'd be the same that way. I can't believe I just did that, but yeah. And a little bridge there, I just shadowed where it's on the inside, so I went opposite of my shadow here, just so it kind of pops. Okay, so I went dark over here, and then light, light, light. Just so it pops out from that little tower. The rocks, just around the cracks, like all those little cracks, I just added some shading, so I just lightly. I'm not going heavy, so just around the cracks, I'm adding in some shadowing. And I'm just going like right over top, like sideways. And just kind of randomly, you don't have to fully fill it in, just nice and soft around the outline of it. This little house, same thing, just shadow the roof, shadow everything in between. This little side panel thing. I just did the whole thing. I didn't go section by section, just sort of quickly filled it in. And then the side of it, I did super light and then added some windows going across. The staircase, the skinny lines, I filled in black pretty much. Can't really see it anyways. Did some stairs down, just like quick little lines, if you can even see them. And just filled in that side of the staircase, like a flat gray. And just kind of filling everything in. And the little train tracks. I don't know what that is. I just did like, oh, I think it's like a little train going across. So I just put little boxes for windows. You can't even really squeeze much detail in there, so you can just fill it in which way. And the little arches, just fill them in a little darker, and then like the bridge itself, like a flat gray. So just like a quick little, so don't fill the arches in, because they're like pillars, they're seeing through them. That's the one side of Hogwarts. I'm going to switch back to my HB pencil because I'm not filling in right now. And we're going to make our second frame first. So if you're still filling in, just take your time. Sorry if I went a little fast there. I don't want to keep you too long. We only have like 40 minutes left, and that took quite a bit of time to do that side, so now I'm kind of panicking. As if there's any kids in the class, I don't want to keep them till like 9. Guess everybody's time zone is different, but it gets pretty standard as you go. Like the shading's all kind of the same, so it's mostly just building. What's my Hogwarts house? I don't know. I'm so bad with like remembering. I'm gonna say Gryffindor because they're the good guys. But I don't know. Sometimes I can be a little bit of a Slytherin. Depends what day you get me on, I guess. Just give the middle glasses a little arch. So remember that faint line that we did? Try and follow, like, keep on that same path. Like center. So it'd be centered with this, and then we'd have another side piece here. So remember, it's just like a rectangle with rounded edges. And then coming back, or ooh, I like gurgled there. Sorry. From the top corner, you come in towards the glasses, and then the bottom corner, you're scooping around and coming back. Easy peasy. So let's start with the main house. I'm going to show you the image quick so that you can kind of see what we're doing, because you won't be able to really look at it. If it would focus. There we go. Sorry, it's not completely in focus, but we're going to start with this main house tower, this piece here, because that's like the prime area of it. I'll try my hardest maybe to, come on, tuck everything in. Maybe you can, I just don't want to mess around with my camera. You can kind of see it. Itty bitty. So let's start midway. So I still have that ghost line, so I'm actually just going to use that ghost line to kind of start my stuff here. Okay, and this one goes over top of the frame. So it's just like a big rectangle, basically. Remember to go light with your outline, because we're going to adjust things and move things around. Okay, so it's like a skinny little rectangle with a triangle on top. I kind of messed up the perspective on this one, so it looks wonky. Again, they're kind of supposed to be wonky, but that one was weird. I was just trying to cut down the time on it, because I already spent so much time trying to draw it. And then a second little frame, like that triangle frame. I'm going to cut out the one side here that I did. That's what's making it wonky. So remember, the sides come out, and then you can just wonk it. You can cut out the frame of the glasses so it doesn't mess you up. There's actually this tower, or this peak of the house actually goes up higher than the framing of the building itself. I put like a teeny tiny little rectangle on top. And just go back. So you're just basically building boxes and rectangles and parallelograms. Just kind of bring this back line down midway and just fade it out. It's going to get covered anyways, so erase your framing. And there's another house. Kind of starting right off the edge of that. Okay, same idea. Just a triangle top. Okay, this one's going the opposite way of this one, so it's just backwards, basically. Put a line back. So when you're building a roof, it's always like same angle as this, as the first line you did. So you're always working in parallel lines. This is parallel to this line. It's how you kind of make things even. Parallels. This one, the side of this house is weird. It's like a little cylinder face. So the first line is actually curved upwards. It's a weird, I'm just going to get rid of that back house there. It's a weird angle. So then it comes in, so scoop in on the side. And then again, scooped upwards, not downwards. And then you can come down. It's like a tower type side thing. My vocabulary is amazing today, I must tell you. Now we can just build all these little, oh, sorry, I guess you can't see that. All these little towers that are coming off the house. It's not a house, but whatever. So one coming off this side. Again, they're all attached by like a little rock face to the wall. And just build a little triangle kind of attaching it. And these towers are tall and skinny. Okay, remember to curve the top. And these ones, not all of them really have that like second line thing. You can still do that, it doesn't matter. The top of this house has one like that where it's built into the house or the roof. So I put a little triangle on top of the roof and then started my cylinder rectangle thing. Oops. It looks like it's coming out. Remember to curve your lines. Curve the top of your little rectangles. It's what's going to make them look cylinder. Let's see here. There's so many going on. This one's kind of halfway. Kind of seeing just a sliver of it off this side of the house. And I'm just seeing mostly the peak. And then there's one in behind it. Oh, before I forget, little birds. I put little teeny, like, you know, those little teeny W birds? Itty bitty, teeny tiny, just a bunch around the tops of the towers. I guess they could be owls. Little delivery Hedwigs. Not birds. There's another tower coming out of this one. A little triangle piece, and then lots and lots of towers. So down here, we'll start with this one. A little skinny one. Actually, yeah. Erase whatever interferes with what you're drawing in front, so it doesn't confuse you when you're trying to fill it in. Okay, so if like a side of one building is like interfering, just get rid of it. Okay, this one is different. I might have to come back to this one. There's another little bridge happening. And it kind of connects to this one. This one's going to be weird. We're going to have to adjust this one because it kind of all connects in a way. So just draw a line across here. Same as this one with the little double arch. You have the arch kind of coming in halfway from the first arch. Okay, cut that across. There's a line. Okay, double line. And it's like a continuation of this bridge. I guess I should have aligned that, shouldn't I? That was silly. Sorry, trying to somewhat eyeball it. I'm gonna take that out then. Sorry about that. Okay, now this tower's, now I can place this tower. It's just kind of, it needs to attach to that bridge there. There's another teeny tiny little house in behind. Another triangle, and then cut across. And this one's actually like another little train bridge, so there's another arch happening right here. And then a teeny tiny tower coming off of that one. Right off the side. That little teeny rock face that connects it. And then in the back of that, there's like just the top of a tower happening. That one's too, like, if it's too much in there, like if you're kind of struggling, you don't have to add all those little itty bitty things. It's a little teeny tiny tower on this side. Okay. About midway, we're going to do, this tower's pretty important here. So this one actually turns into a rock face. Get rid of that sideline of that house there if you need to. This one's got more of a shorter top to it, so tighten your triangle a little bit. And then this one turns into, yeah, a little rock. So you can, kind of how we did over here, just sort of wiggle it down to be a little rock. Okay. And then you can have, we're going to do a rock face that kind of just cuts into that. And then it just kind of works its way up. You can add some little cracks. Just kind of wiggle your lines. Sometimes I just add like little, see, kind of like a little lightning bolt. And then there's a rock face that kind of cuts off into the bridge. You can continue these little archways over here in the bridge, just so you can pinpoint what everything is when we go to fill it in. And just cut off things that don't have bottoms to it. And then there's this weird sort of this tower here, the same idea where it is part of the rock face and then becomes like this castle looking thing. The bottoms just becomes a little bit of the, oops, sorry. Let's draw like a regular tower, but it kind of comes down into the rock. And now everything is coming in behind the frame of the glasses. I'd extend this one out a little bit. Okay, so this wall, there's like a wall here. And it's got that same castle thing. I forget what you called that. What was it? Crenellations. The nodding thing. So it's got that like castle type piece coming across. And then it just becomes like a face for these two towers. So it's kind of working into this like a box. Honestly, it's such a small little quarter thing that doesn't really matter. It just doesn't matter if it all squeezes or if it doesn't. Threw it in there, and there's a little tunnel where the train goes through. And then there's building more tall towers in the background. Easy peasy. This one's a little different, where it's, I'm going to go beyond the glasses here a little bit. It has this shape. It comes out. Kind of like a little bowl. And then the top. And then this, there's a little side piece that was growing off this one. I can't really squeeze it onto that side, but it's just going to come off the side of the glasses. And I'm building it the same way as that back tower there, where it's got the little bowl top, and then, you know. And again, that little rock face that brings it and attaches it in. Okay, so that's, and there's one little like chimney looking thing coming off of this one. Or maybe it's a tower. I don't know. I'm gonna make it a tower just for fun. Okay, so now we can fill in. So I'm switching back to my 4B pencil. I'm going to start with my frames. Actually, give my pencil a little sharpen. We might go past 8:30. Might be like 8:45. which isn't too bad. Now that we kind of have the hang of how to fill it all in, it'll go a lot faster. We could start with the middle of the glasses here. So I just shadowed edge to edge. So the middle of the glasses is the shiny part. So just dark on the edges and then light fade to my light in the center of that frame. How's everybody doing? I know that was kind of like, whoa, there's a lot going on. Maybe in the comment section, just let me know if you're like screaming or if you're enjoying it or if my voice is putting you to sleep. I'm just filling in my frames here. So I'm just going dark to light. I'll start with this big house thing. There's like a circle in the middle of that, right between that triangle. Oh, good. Take your time too, like don't stress. It's supposed to be fun and simple. So inside that circle is the same as like the archway where you're doing like half a semicircle in it. I'm not sure if it's a window or something. And then fill in the bigger part of the circle there. So it's like a moon. There's almost like a moon shape inside there that I kept lighter. I guess you can't really see it. I kind of filled it in by accident, but all good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying yourself. Last time I had an imposter and it was bugging me. He was playing pranks on me. I'm so gullible that I fell for it, and I was like, it's always nice to have a good crowd. Harry Potters are awesome anyways. Harry Potters. I meant Harry Potter fans. There's no hate. So with this big one, I shaded it a little different. I just shaded from the bottom a little bit. Hi, cat. Hi. This one's really tight quarters everywhere, so the only thing with shading is like try not to put like dark beside dark. Like if like this side of the house, sorry, I'm just gonna call it house because I don't know what it is. Tower is gonna be darker, so then I'm gonna make this side lighter so that it stands out from this one that's gonna be dark. Like try and like, let's see that. Just so they all kind of pop out from each other, like try not to put like two dark faces beside each other sort of thing. If that makes sense. I can darken underneath your peaks. And I did the same thing with the little windows, those little arch windows. So I went 3 across. And kind of the same thing as the other side. Just shadow the top of my peak and then fade out. Try and be really light in your fading. Hold on, my cat is getting into something. Can you not do that? Thank you. He discovered my secret stash of his catnip. It's not what I need right now. It's a cat on catnip. Yep. Sorry. So basically, I think it's pretty generic from here. There's like add windows wherever you like. This one up here. Oh, this tower was coming off of it, but I did a little different shadow coming off this one, where I shadowed like on the roof. Did a heavy shadow beside that tower where I'd cast a little bit of a shadow. And then kind of did my fade from there. Who's everybody's favorite character? Just did a light shadow on that house. I did some little windows across. Luna. I gotta rewatch. Every time I try to rewatch it, I've been trying to like go through every single one for like 7 years, and I keep failing. I have this thing where I can't start like directly. I always have to start right from the beginning. So I go back to the first movie, and I keep doing that, and then I keep getting like one movie each time. So it's been like 3 years, a couple of years of just trying to keep watching them over and over again. There's just so many that I'm like, I think I've only seen to like number 4 or something, because I keep getting distracted. This little tower, like I added a really dark shadow right beside it. This little rooftop, I was really light with it. Dobby, he's cute. Or you can just add in like random windows. Some peaks you can do darker than others. Maybe let's do the bridge together, since it's a little different. Again, dark to light in that little rainbow piece underneath. A little arch. I don't know why I called it a rainbow. And it goes dark to light. Okay, fill in the bridge nice and light gray. Okay, we're going to add some detail into it. I did like little archways, but they're more just like impressions in the pavement or the cement. So it's a skinny little arch with like one thicker side. See right there? I did that over here too. I think I did like little corner pieces, so it's more of like a square, but just darker on the one side. I think that's all I did different on that. And just fade out all the teeny tiny, itty bitty, we got teeny tiny windows. That bridge is just the same, kind of coming across. Just filled in those arches, like heavier on one side, so it looks like this arch, sort of. And I just filled it in like a light gray. Remember, you can kind of fill in your frame as you go. So it's always dark to light and then light to dark. So you're kind of just transitioning. So I got this light piece, so then I'm just going to go light and back into dark. And I'm fading it back out to light. Annoying. I'm gonna maybe turn off my one light. Hold on. Is that better? Might be like a little foggy looking, just it's getting really dark, and then my lamps cast too much of a shadow from my hand and my head and stuff, so it's tricky to kind of balance everything. Thank you. I've never seen you on here before, Robert. Have you done any of the other drawings? Well, welcome. I don't like that didn't turn out shiny. If your glasses take over and you want more of a shine, just take your eraser and you can like erase in the whiter parts and just kind of fade it out. I'll make it nice and bright and shiny and reflective looking. Where I kind of spiraled in on those edges of the glasses, it kind of just helps fade it out easily. Yay! That's what I like to hear. I got a cute little fall one coming up. We haven't posted it yet, I don't think, but it's like a leaf. And inside the leaf is like a little country kitchen with some pies cooling in the window. It's pretty cute. If you ever want to look back on some videos, I've done BB-8. That's a free one as well. So you can always just look on our YouTube channel. This little drawbridge in here. Again, it's just same archway. I kind of kept the face of this. Oh, I did it dark. And then the roof top of it, I kept white pretty much. Whoa. Shoot. Remember your teeny tiny windows. This arched one, I just faded out from the one side. I went a little darker. I just try and balance. Bleh. Wow. Balance your shadows against your highlights. Like try and like switch between like, you know, this one I'm doing darker because I did this rooftop beside it lighter so that they all kind of pop from each other. Okay, and then remember to add some like teeny tiny little windows and everything. I'm just gonna keep repeating that. And we're just faking a lot of detail. Sometimes you can just make things look really complex by just tossing in a few little itty bitty details. This one I kept lighter a little bit, shadowed at the peak. Remember, you can smudge if you want to, like, if it's easier to fade that way. All those little windows. I just had the windows and like the flat surfaces. And darkening my outlines. Yeah, that was a fun one. I like doing that stuff where I always put an image inside an image. I kind of want to do a fox. So I've got my September free one. Does anybody have any suggestions for October? Like, is there any like big Halloween buffs out there? Because I love Halloween. So if there's something specific you want that's Halloween themed or spooky, let me know. I always take suggestions. This little castle thing just kept flat. Maybe shadow a little bit beside that tower. And frame it a little bit more. It kind of grows into this tower, so I just kind of shadowed on the one side, and then same with this one. So the center is more of the highlight. So I shadowed in from either side. Ooh, Corella. That would be fun. I was thinking of like an image inside like a poison bottle or something. Like a Halloween theme. Kind of fun. Don't forget this little teeny tiny guy up here. Don't forget your birds as well. I just kind of toss them in while I've done your owl things. Hedwigs. Oops, I forgot about this one. Ooh, I like that one. The poison apple. With like a skull face in it. You know, on like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. It's got that one. It's like melting. It's got the skull in it. This one I added windows up even in the roof or the tower roof thing. And then all that's left is the rocks and a little lightning bolt. Remember the rocks? You're just like darken your cracks. I just kind of made them a little darker. And then I just shadowed in and around them on the edges. It's just kind of like the face. I'm just randomly tossing some shadow. Doesn't really matter. This one I went really dark kind of at the base. And then kind of pushed up to be a little lighter. Because it kind of works in to be the tower. So I kind of shadowed all of it a little bit. You can just like randomly throw in itty bitty cracks. Sometimes I literally just zigzag my pencil into like a little lightning bolt. Sorry, I know that's kind of hard to see. I'll have to figure out some lighting, different lighting for winter, because it gets really dark. As long as you have some white in with the rocks, you're fine. I just like literally zigzag. Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Easy peasy. And then the lightning bolt. Just diagonal line. I'm going to do this with my HB because I always mess up my lightning bolts. I'll just light line down. Okay, one line is longer than the other. And go up. This one should be longer, way longer. And down into like a V point. Cut that up. Make this one wider, actually. And then I just took my 4B pencil, gave that a harsh outline. And just went thick, dark on the outside, and then as you kind of come into the center of your lightning bolt, I just lightened up so it's like highlighted in the center. And that is how you draw Hogwarts in Harry's glasses. That's pretty fun. It wasn't too hard. The nice thing is that it was kind of like illustrative, so it wasn't too like, you didn't have to worry too much about being too realistic, and it was okay to kind of make some errors because it just kind of went with the theme of being sort of more illustrative, kind of wonky. Not wonky, but like characteristic wise. You don't have to worry too much about heavy details. So I hope you guys had fun. I sure did. No clowns. Yeah, clowns are scary. It would be fun to draw one though. I drew it, but I did like half Tim Curry's face from like the old It, and then I drew like the new It. So it was like half and half of like both the characters. It was a fun piece I did. That was for a commission piece, but so I hope you guys had fun. Thank you all for joining. Sorry, finished product. It's kind of hard to see sometimes with the lighting being all crazy at nighttime. Sometimes when I take the light right off, ooh, that's too dark, but it's always hard to showcase shiny pencil. But I hope you guys had a good time, and just check out our Facebook page or our YouTube page and whatnot for future, or even our website, sorry, if you want to see any free videos coming up in the future. And I hope to see you all at the September one. So thank you. Have a great night.